Today I'm flying from Dubai International Airport to London Heathrow on the 3:45 p.m. I'm in premium economy, so let's see how it goes. I'm just about to leave Le Méridien at the Dubai airport on the bus, just waiting now. Got about 5 minutes to go, and let's see what today's journey is going to be like. So there are a number of hotels near the airport that will offer you a free bus ride. Le Méridien at the airport is definitely one of them. You could get a taxi, but literally the airport is just opposite. And although it won't cost you much, it makes sense if you've got enough time just to get the free shuttle bus. So that's what we're doing now, and we're all aboard. I remember I did this once before, and I think this is the first hotel. We drop off at one more hotel and then we end up at the airport. It's around about 15 minutes time. It's currently 1:05. My flight leaves at 3:45, so we're not boarding for another 2 hours. And so it gives me enough time to get there. I think if I left 1 hour later, it would be a little bit too tight. This is the other hotel where we pick the people up from. You can just see them coming there. And the hotel we've just come from is kind of like just there. We've literally had to go around the houses because Dubai's road systems are often kind of like one way in a way. But it's currently 12 minutes past 1, so we should be at the airport within the next 6-7 minutes, but let's see how it goes. And because we're in the middle of April at the moment, the temperature in Dubai has got really hot, so it's my Apple Watch is telling me it's 37 degrees outside. Although on the bus it's showing as 44. I suppose local heat reflection around some of these concrete buildings means it does get a little bit warmer. So I'm incredibly grateful for the air conditioning at the moment. That's really, really good on this bus. And if you look over there we go. So the airport is literally just there. That's the old Terminal 1 departures there, and we're going to be making our way to Terminal 3. It is now 1:15 and we've literally just parked up to go to the terminal. So if you've booked Le Méridien, you can also get the bus from here as well. I've never been able to work out where it's come up. I've only stayed here a couple of times, but let's go into the airport now. So looking at it, it's bus stop number 4 in the car park there. I just looked to my right. So if you are staying at Le Méridien and you're on the free bus, I guess it goes about 30 minutes past the hour. But check with the hotel before arrival, I would recommend. So coming through now to the departures area, into the sunshine. Oh my lord, it is warm. So even though this is a pedestrian crossing, they do kind of like control it, let the cars through and then let the pedestrians cross it as well. So if you're flying in economy, you're going to come through to these departures. If you're a silver, gold or platinum member flying any class, or you're flying business or first class, you can come here. And as you come through the doors, you just make a right-hand turn. Oh, that's welcome air conditioning. So you just make a right-hand turn and you can go to the business and first class check-in areas. Now I'm flying premium. Oh, I'm out of breath. I'm flying premium economy today, but I'm also a gold member. So that allows me to check in at the business class area, which is often just a little bit quieter. And today after I check in, I believe my flight is going from A gates, which means I need to get the train And again, that can just add a little bit more time to your journey. So always check the gates. You're always going to come in at B gates. Sorry, let me rephrase that. You are always going to check in at B gates. But if your flight goes from B or C, then you're already in the right building. C gates is a bit of a walk. But if you are flying from A gates, you have to get the train. Now they're quite efficient, and I'll show you that in a minute when I've checked in. So they're currently redoing some of this area. It's good given that in the future they're going to be moving this airport to DWB on the other side of Dubai, but even with that they're still working at making the airport experience as good as it can be. So right up in the ahead is the passport and security, but on the left here you've got the check-in areas. Just on the left, immediate left, you've got first class and platinum, and then if you're flying business or you're a silver and gold member, you can just walk a little bit further. Now I have to say, because I've kind of like done an extended trip, I arrived from Kuala Lumpur into Dubai yesterday, my suitcase is quite heavy. Must be all the hair products. So if I'm sounding out of breath, that's why. In fact, let's check in here, look. That's fine, my friend, no problem. Ooh.
So it's only 3 weeks?
Just 3 weeks, yeah. I'll be doing a stopover on my way to Vietnam in 3 weeks and seeing my son, who lives here.
Who lives here?
Yeah.
No power banks, electronics,
No, all my electronics are in my Dora the Explorer backpack.
So go ahead, click me this red button here on the screen.
I do not have these items, thank you very much. It's busy this time of year, isn't it? Easter holidays, man.
We don't have seasons anymore, we just have busy.
Yeah, I've noticed. I don't remember the last time I was on a flight where it wasn't full.
Don't let me tell you about London Heathrow because
Oh, London Heathrow is shockingly busy all the time.
lovely. 6 flights a day.
No.
All of them full.
Is it still 5 380s and 1 777 to Heathrow?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Precisely.
And that's just Heathrow. Think of Gatwick, Birmingham, Manchester, Stansted.
I mean, the whole 9 years.
Yeah.
Anyways, all set.
A gates?
To your plane. Yes.
Super. Thanks a lot, buddy.
Enjoy the trip.
Enjoy the rest of your day. Cheers, man. So check-in was nice and easy. He's confirmed that the flight is full. Now making a way to security. I'm just going to go to the right here because it tends to be a little bit quieter. And if you're running a little bit late, you can always use the travelators. That saves you about 3 or 4 seconds. I'm going to use that. It's nice to get rid of the suitcase though, because that was really heavy. Weighed in at 28 kilos. And when I left for KL a couple of weeks or a week a bit ago, it was 32 kilos. But I dropped some stuff off to my son and my daughter-in-law on the way through a little bit earlier. So as you come up here, you'll need your boarding pass and you need your passport because they want to check it before you get to security. And of course, I need to stop recording now because they will not allow us to record here, quite rightly. You are from the B gates, you go up in those elevators, but we are going to A gates. So that means just coming to the left of the business class security, which was nice and smooth. Laptops out and obviously watches off and stuff like that, but you can keep your liquids in the bag. So you just make a left, and as we walk down here, the train is just on the right hand side. Usually the trains come every 3, 4, 5 minutes or so, and they're pretty rapid. It's a very quick journey, and I can see there's people waiting, so it shouldn't be too long. In fact, looks like the train has literally just arrived. Look at that, perfect timing. So we're going to get on board the train. I'm going to stop recording the train, mainly because there's lots of people and I don't like recording people if they don't want to be recorded. But we can see just boarding now, and it goes to gates A1 to A24.
يرجى أخذ جميع تنصيحاتكم والانتباه لخطواتكم عند المغادرة.
So as you come into the train station, you've got a couple of choices here. There's the elevators, and there are 4 elevators, 2 go at a time, and that's going to be the less intense route for sure. You can see them just up on the left, and as 2 on the left go up, the 2 on the right will come down. For me, I typically take the escalator. The reason, just about to spend 7 hours plus sitting down, so it kind of like makes sense to take the escalator if I can. One word of warning, although you can stand still, I tend to do steps anyway. As you come up the escalator, you think, yay, as you get closer to the top, it's you're nearly there. The only problem is this is only 50% of the way there. So as you get to the top, you make a left turn and then it's the same distance again. So if you are walking, just be really mindful. I would say it may well be quicker to do this if you've got the good fitness levels, because sometimes people keep the elevator doors open, and as a result, sometimes the elevators take a little bit longer. I always get to about 50% of this second elevator and my lungs are beginning to scream at me. Doesn't help that I'm carrying a 15 kilo backpack. You can see those are the elevators there. No one's come up that yet. So one of the things I really love about the A gates is it's newer than B and C, and as a result it just tends to be a little bit calmer, particularly if you're in the business lounge. You can take the elevators to the business lounge, but again I'm going to take the escalator. And on this one, I think I'm just going to stand still. Now, as you come up the escalators, there's 2 shorter ones, and on the first level is first class and platinum. Now, I was platinum a few years ago, and that was really nice, but even flying in economy, I was able to use the first class lounge, which is quieter. You can see it says there business class lounge, the next level, so we just go up 1 more level. And again, I'm just going to adjust the video camera because again, I don't like videoing people. Some countries are different. There are digital privacy laws in the UAE which are different from the UK. In the UK there is no expectation of privacy in a public area. The thing is, this is a publicly accessible area, but it's not public because, of course, it's privately owned. But in the UAE, it's slightly different. So, as you can see, we come up these 4 little escalators and then into the business lounge. And all we've got to work out here is as I go through, do I go left or do I go right? And that depends on what gate I'm going to be going through. Going to go to check-in. Yes, thank you very much. Let me give you that. Thank you. How are you today?
I'm good, Sir Darren.
Fantastic. Oh, hang on a minute. My passport is needed. There we go.
Sir, thank you,
I forgot.
Sir Darren. Just give us a moment.
Sure.
Your gate is connected on this lounge, so we are doing no documents check. Is the recording from the
Super. Is it A1? Is it that way?
Through this door on your right, you'll find the gate. Sir.
Fantastic. Thank you.
What is your gate? 3 o'clock is the boarding, and we don't go for boarding announcements.
That's fine.
For that, huh?
Yeah, I've done this.
Just keep an eye for the boarding time, sir.
Lovely. Thank you very
Sir,
much. Cheers.
Sir Darren.
Bye-bye.
On your right side. Enjoy your stay.
Cheers. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I've, as you come in, if you're getting a flight to the UK and probably the US as well, I would imagine, not only do you give your boarding pass for them to check that you are allowed in, but you also have to give security your passport. They've got additional checks. So we've already come through security and, watches off, scan the bags and all that stuff. Later, when I go to the gate, as you go through, you'll be randomly selected for some additional security. And they kind of like make you take your shoes off, make you take your laptop out, and they just scan it for, I don't know actually, I don't want to say the word because I'm in an airport. I expect it's either for things like drugs or it could be explosives, but I don't want to say it too loud. Sometimes it can feel a little bit frustrating when you see some people wave through and you have to queue up and take all your shoes off and start again. But, for me, I don't know, it's about safety, and therefore, if you're one of these people that wants to get on the flight first, I would definitely recommend getting to the departure gate a little bit early, because sometimes you can be waiting an extra 10 minutes. Anyway, so this is the business lounge in the A gates, which is very, very long. It goes all the way from one end to the A gates to the other, and that's what makes this a lot more nice. That's good English. A lot nicer to be travelling from. Over there, and I've used that a couple of times, there is the showers, which is always a good opportunity to freshen up. I've done that when I've transited, but I'm trying not to transit as much anymore. And just on the level below, you can see first class. That's the first class shower, so there's going to be less people there. And below that is just the kind of like the common area. I don't like using the word common, but yeah, where most people would go if they don't have any lounge access. Now, restaurants. There's a number of different restaurants. Let me take you through. If I'm just going to come back here on the left-hand side. And again, I want to be very mindful that there's going to be people in here. So this is more of the fast food. You've got coffees, teas, some fruits, always nice. Cheesecake, alcohol for those of you who drink. Actually, one of the best things I ever did was give up alcohol, I have to say. So I expect the lounge today to be really busy. As the guy mentioned, there's 6 flights a day to London Heathrow, 5 A380s, and 1 777. And they're all full. They're full pretty much all the time. But you keep walking along here, you've got some more food. So there's lots of different food options here. Of course, the water. There's also ice cream machine over there, should you wish to. One thing which I can't show you on this trip, on the B gates in the business lounge in the B gates, is they have an actual Costa coffee, but not a machine, but actually like a Costa coffee. Limited, you can get teas and coffees as you would in any Costa, but they also have lovely pastries and muffins and stuff like that, all inclusive. You don't pay for anything. And again, depending on what time you arrive here, what you can do is walk to the end. So we're going from gate A1, which I think is just on the other side. But until boarding gets a bit closer, you can just keep walking, and you realise that as you get further away from where people come in, here we go, look, it's the quiet lounge. And this is a good place to come if you want to get a little bit of peace and quiet when you're travelling. Although I have, that said, I've been here before. I had a 9-hour layover. I was flying from Hyderabad to Oslo. The connections weren't great, and I had 9 hours down there. Didn't sleep as well as I thought I would. But anyway, I'm going to go and get some food now, and then where are we? We're going to be 1 hour and 20 minutes until boarding. As it was getting closer to boarding time, I started to make my way down to gate A1. And although you can board from the lounge, because it's the A380, that means that you board with first and business class passengers. And it's a little bit like the walk of shame. I'm on the lower deck, so instead I make my way through to gate A1 and the boarding area there. When you get there, you just need to show your passport and your boarding pass, and then you make your way down to an additional security check. So I've just come into the boarding gate now. It's 2:48. So we should be leaving in just under an hour. Boarding should start in around 15 or so minutes. As I mentioned, coming down the stairs, there is that extra security. Again, not allowed to video it, but if you look in the distance there, you can see the guys in the blue shirts, and they're just performing extra checks. It's completely random who gets selected. I don't remember the last time I wasn't selected. I guess maybe I look a little bit dodgy. And what they do is they ask you to take off your shoes, they take out your electronics, so laptop, phone and stuff like that. And then they just swab your hands and your electronics and your shoes and some of your clothes, just to make sure that there's nothing nefarious being taken on board. So hopefully that is our plane for the day, that beautiful A380, absolutely beautiful plane. I love flying on the A380s, it's so comfortable. And in fact, there is just one there in the distance. Looks like it's just landing. So next we'll be boarding, and we'll see what the boarding experience is like, and we'll see what the flight is like. One thing to remember when you go through to the plane, you will obviously need to show, there we go, you obviously need to show your boarding pass. A lot of people then put the boarding passes back in their bags. What I would recommend, 10 minutes to reboard, keep your boarding pass with you, because the cabin crew will check it before allowing you onto the plane. So that's just something you need to be aware of when flying on Emirates. So I'm now waiting by the gate to board. And as you can see, people are coming down the escalator here that I came down a moment ago. And some people are being waved straight through, and some people are being asked to actually go and do an extra check. But now it's time to get on board and find out what the in-flight experience is like.
Thank you. It was a pleasure to come back.
Welcome back with us to the docks.
Thank you.
Great. So we just approach, and then to the right, which is the first
Just there,
one.
yeah? Lovely. Thank you. Hey.
I was sitting in seat 33 kilo, that's the window seat, so that's my seat there. And because I was the first to actually board, just got a quick glimpse of the cabin. Time to check out the entertainment, and one of the first things I like to do is see what films they've got on, although I can check that via the app beforehand. I also love on the A380 that you've got a number of different cameras. You've got the tail camera, and you've got the nose camera, and you can see even below you as well. I was really pleased to see that on this A380, the cameras were really high quality. Sometimes they can be a little bit low quality or not working at all, but on this flight, it was perfect. Didn't take long to push back, and then it was time to head off to the runway. We were going to be departing from 30 left. That's the closest runway to the terminal buildings. And before long, we were on our way. And it was really easy to be able to look out the window. It was a beautiful day, of course, always sunny. I say always sunny. Sometimes it's not sunny. And it's just lovely seeing all these planes line up. The Emirates fleets are just fantastic to look at. If you're a fan of flying and a fan of airports, the airport at Dubai International is just fantastic. So we were now heading towards 30 left. So we were taking off in for what I would call the right direction for me, because it means not too much turning around. We're kind of like heading west as we take off. And I love the sound of these I love the sound. I don't know what I was saying there. I love the sound that the A380 makes as it's making its way down the runway. what's amazing to me is, even though we're on this giant plane with 4 massive engines, just how quiet the plane feels when you're inside it. We're making our way over towards the sea now, leaving Dubai behind, getting views there. I believe in the distance that might be Dira or Sharjah, can't remember which one, but we're now on our way. We make a slight right turn as we're departing because our flight path today is going to be taking us over Iran and then heading up towards Turkey and then over Europe into London Heathrow. Before long, it was time to check out the menu, and there's some wines available. As I've mentioned on many of my videos, I don't drink alcohol, but I decided very quickly I was going to be having the grilled chicken and then afternoon tea before we land with the beautiful scones. Because I was flying on a Saturday, I was able to watch 3 Premiership games that were broadcast live over the in-flight entertainment system. Of course, as we get going, always good to just look out the window and see these beautiful landscapes passing us by as we make our way back to London. The only question I've got in my mind is what's the weather going to be like as we land? Then the food order arrived, and this was my first meal, the chicken and the vegetables, and the crackers and the lovely dessert. What's not to like about that? Considering this is premium economy, I think the food is really good quality. Again, I'm continuing to watch some football matches as we make our way back to London. And before we know it, time passes so quickly, it's time for the afternoon snack. So an array of different sandwich choices there, and the scone with jam and cream. The only question is, do you put jam on first or cream on first? I have to say the headphones supplied in premium economy, I think they are the same as the ones that you get in economy, and they're not noise cancelling, they're not really comfortable. I mean, I do take my own headphones with me, but if you are flying premium, don't expect a premium headset for the journey. Something to be really mindful of. We're now approaching England. That's the coastline as we're heading towards London, and it doesn't take too long. The flight time today was about 7 and a bit hours. And again, I love this camera view as we're coming in. If you are flying into London and you're going to be coming in, landing from east to west on Heathrow Airport, that's runway 27 left or 27 right, I would always recommend to sit on the right-hand side of the plane if you've got a window seat, because you get some fantastic views of London, the central London, as you're making your way towards Heathrow. So we can see the River Thames below there. I was struggling because we came in on a slightly different path than normal. Very often we make a tight turn coming in over Canary Wharf, and I couldn't spot it. I guess it was because it was getting dark, but the lights of London, I think like any city, when you come in and it's nighttime, the lights are just absolutely beautiful to look at. One thing on this flight, it was a full flight and there were lots of children on the flight. And I have to say it was a very noisy flight. I'll address that towards the end of the video. But again, one of the things I did was just put on my noise cancelling headphones and either listen to the football or listen to music as we're coming in. So as you could hear there was one child who was desperately uncomfortable and constantly screaming. And whilst it was unpleasant to listen to, I can only think and feel for the parents at that point. But we didn't take long until we were landing, and we landed coming in on 27 left, which is beautiful from an Emirates perspective because it means you get to the end of the runway and it's a short turn to the right before we end up at gates 7, 5 or 3, which is the normal one. We ended up coming in at gate 7, and there was the other A380 there. There's 5 a day that leave from London Heathrow, plus there's also a 777. Wasn't too long before the doors opened and it was time to make our way off the aeroplane and through to immigration. As we made our way to the end of the bridge and into the main terminal, it was up the stairs or the escalators if you've got a trolley bag. There's a short right turn and then you get to the end of this little corridor and you make a left turn. There's a little travelator just as you get through this doorway, and that helps you get through to passport control just a little bit quicker, depending on how many people are in front of you. So this is the long walk from gate 7 through to immigration. Very likely that the luggage will come on belt 6 because it's often coming on belt 6. The question is, will the luggage be there by the time we get past immigration? Should have missed a lot of the traffic because it's not a commuter day, being a Saturday. So we're going to make a right at the end of here. So just coming down the stairs here, this is passport control. And of course, I will have to stop recording in a minute. So through passport control and then down the escalator. You can also go the other way, you can go right. I always go left because that takes me close to one of the toilets. I shall quickly hop to the toilet before checking what belt it is, but every time I come in it's always belt 6. Let's see if we can get confirmation on that. As you come down the escalator, just look up on the side here and EK005 belt number 6. So that's just up here on the left hand side. So continuing to belt number 6, I have to say Heathrow Airport Terminal 3 is a bit tired now. It works, of course it works, but it is a little bit tired, especially when you compare it to somewhere like Dubai. And because it's an A380, there are billions of bags. So I'm very fortunate that mine will be tagged as business, which means it should come off quicker than most. And I have, in fact I can see it, it's over there, look. It's the one with the green strap around it, so I'm going to see if I can walk around there and collect it. So, that was an interesting flight, punctuated by sounds of screaming children. But, you know, we've all been kids, and I can only feel for the parents at that point. And so I hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll catch you on the next trip.